Cool.
First Selectman Stephen Everett, I'd like to call the meeting of the Columbia Board of Selectmen to order on Tuesday, December 1st in the year 2020 at 7 p.m. First thing we need to do is to read the rules for conducting a virtual meeting. This is a web-based call, so we are operating under the following procedures. This session is being both video and audio recorded. Board members and staff will generally remain on mute except when speaking or voting, and will generally be keeping video of themselves on throughout the meeting. If a member of the public creates an audio or video disturbance, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of staff or the first selectman. For public input, we will be looking into the comment section of public input at columbiact.org. They're to be within 24 hours before the meeting. And if you'd like to, you can raise your hand in the chat feature of the Zoom meeting and we will call on you. Include in both methods your name and address, please. Moment of silence. Anybody have any particulars or the time of year? We pray for results and the healthy distribution of a vaccine and all those in our country who are affected. So moment of silence, please. Thank you. Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion?
I do have a point. We had done the increase the fire department's subsidy tax abatement, that's what it's called. And there really was no input on the discussion that was had. And so people might not understand why we would have done that. And I think it should be noted that they put in a lot of hours and they're having trouble finding new members to fill and do the volunteer work. And that if we don't do something, we're going to end up with having to pay for a department. So there's a reason to increase that abatement. And they work hard for our community.
Yeah, I remember a lot of comments on that. So Mark, can we go back into the recording and add to that?
You're on mute, Mark.
Yes, we'll just a minute to include the discussion. I remember it.
I just think it would be helpful for historical record, if anybody ever looks.
Well, we didn't raise it because we raised it because of state, but we certainly were all in favor because of what they do. So we can put comments in there of that.
Right.
Any other discussion?
Okay, we were approving the agenda though, right?
Correct.
before we go to the minutes?
Yeah, no, she jumped.
I know.
Oh,
That's
sorry
okay.
about that.
No, that's okay. I'm kind of thinking a process, but that's okay.
All set? All those in favor to approve the agenda? Rob,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes,
Judy?
Yes.
Steve and I vote yes. Thank you. Now, approval of the minutes. Board of Selectmen regular meeting on November 17th. I don't think you have to repeat your comments, Lisa.
thank
Any
you.
other discussion? I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the November 17th, 2020 meeting. Any discussion? Other than that, we've already heard.
Right. With the amendments or whatever, adjustments.
All those in favor? Rob,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes,
Judy,
Yes.
Steve and I vote yes. So audience of citizen. Anything? Nothing in the comments, seeing none. Thank you.
No, I have no.
Oh, you do?
comments.
Okay. Hi,
Thank
Ann.
you. Hi. No, I'm just listening tonight. Thank you.
So we need to put her name and address in the book.
Please state your name.
It's written right there.
Thank you,
It's
Ann.
103.
Okay, old business. Let's see. Old business.
No old business.
Well, why is it in my book?
Oh, it must not have gotten ripped out.
Real old.
That's because Jen left that to me.
Okay. New business, 7.1. Tonight, we're going to be discussing some transfers, and they're going to be coming from various different line items, and we're going to move them to two different areas, building officials line item and social worker. And what the changes that we made in the building official position, bringing on a maintenance person, we're going to need to move funds over there from already respective areas, as well as the social worker, and add funds to that one to fill the dollars of the position that we made. So it'll all come to light when we look at this. So whereas in light of the current declaration of public health and civil preparedness emergencies in the state of Connecticut and the executive orders issued by Governor Lamont in conjunction with such declaration, the holding of a town meeting would not be prudent. And whereas Section 7 of Executive Order 7S, as in Sierra, issued by Governor Lamont on April 1st in the year 2020, permits the Board of Selectmen and the Financial Planning and Allocation Committee by the majority vote of each such body to authorize a special appropriation or transfer in an amount less than 1% of the town's current total municipal budget without complying with the town charter or any statutory requirement to hold a town meeting or referendum to approve such special appropriation or transfer. And whereas the Board of Selectmen have determined that the transfer of $25,000 within the Social Services Department, as described in the attached document, is in the best interest of the town. So therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Selectmen recommends that the Financial Planning and Allocation Commission approve the town transfer the sum of $25,000 from the Social Services Department and Professional Tech budget line to other various budget lines within the Social Services Department for the purpose of reallocating budgeted lines to be in accordance with the hiring of a community social worker instead of outsourcing those services. Want to touch on that, Mark? I know that we've taken the money. We used to outsource our social worker, and we decided to go in-house. We've hired directly, and we need to move the money over to be able to pay from its own position, correct?
Correct. We used to outsource, or we planned to
Excellent.
outsource that to an agency, but we decided after long evaluation to bring it to an in-house employee. So with the help of Bev, who's on the call, we've broken that 25,000 into what will become a normal social worker budget, breaking out salary, postage, supplies, professional dues, conference seminars, and transportation. Anything?
Any questions for us or while Beverly is on the line? Hearing none, all those in favor? Oh, is that a motion? Did I make a motion or what?
Well,
Did.
you read the motion.
Okay, so resolved is also a motion. All those in favor, Rob? Say again, Bill?
Yes.
Close enough.
Okay, all right. Rob said yes. Bill?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes,
Judy?
Yes,
Steve and I vote yes. Thank you. And the next one, just to go over it, this is to take money from different areas from the Department of Public Works, facilities, professional tech line, grounds and maintenance, different departments. We're going to move it all into a facilities, building inspections and facilities maintenance. Is that what we're going to call it, Mark? No.
No, we're going to call it buildings, inspections, and facilities maintenance.
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it. Yes, you're correct, Stephen.
Thank you. All right. So whereas, in light of the current declaration, I have to read this all again?
Well, it's
It's all right.
all the same except for the last whereas.
All right. Whereas in light of the current declaration of public health and civil preparedness emergencies in the state of Connecticut and the executive orders issued by Governor Lamont in conjunction with such declaration, the holding of a town meeting would not be prudent. And whereas Section 7 of the executive order 7 Sierra issued by Governor Lamont on April 1st, year 2020, permits the Board of Selectmen and the Financial Planning and Allocation Committee by the majority vote of each such body to authorize a special appropriation or transfer in an amount less than 1% of the town's current total municipal budget without complying with the town charter or any statutory requirement to hold a town meeting or referendum to approve such special appropriation or transfer. And whereas the Board of Selectmen and the Financial Planning and Allocation Committee have determined that the transfer of $158,507 from various budget lines as described in the attached document is in the best interest of the town. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Selectmen recommends that the Financial Planning and Allocation Commission approve the town transfer in the sum of $158,507 from the various budget lines in the Building Inspection and Facilities Maintenance Department, as well as from various lines in the Public Works Department and contingency to various budget lines within the Budget Inspection Facilities Maintenance Department for the purpose of bringing the budget in accordance with the restructuring of the Building Inspection and the Facilities Maintenance Department, as well as the Public Works Department. So in saying that, we're taking from a lot from the Public Works, we're putting
Right.
responsibilities into a new area, the Building Inspection and Facilities Maintenance.
so I'm trying to understand this. So we approve money in certain areas and we don't need it in those areas and you're transferring it to salaries. Is that what you're saying? Now, why did we put it in those areas if we don't need it?
Well, because up until the retirement of personnel,
Okay,
they were in that area. But upon their retirement, we decided to make a new line item, facilities maintainer, building inspection and facilities maintainer. Instead of paying out or paying the town of Lebanon to use their
Okay.
building inspector
yeah, I knew that,
at a
yeah.
higher rate, we brought him in-house. And we also brought in a facilities maintenance person at a lower cost than what we were paying somebody from DPW. So we took it away from DPW, we put it in a different section. We think it'll run smoother and we'll be able to, take care of things without having to run through DPW for it. Anything else, Mark? Right, hit it.
Yeah, Bev might want to highlight some of the contingency reasons. We had a couple projects that weren't budgeted, like the cameras at Rec Park and a sander that came in a little more expensive than we had estimated last year for the maintainer's plow truck.
Yes, plus I noticed there's a couple new items. We contracted with a Pest Pro for rodent control. I noticed that this year we've had some maintenance on the buildings, which was not budgeted. So that's why there's like 10,000 coming out of contingency, so we can cover all those costs without doing further, hopefully no further transfers later on in the year. Plus preparing for next year's budget so that they have pretty much a well-maintained budget going into next year when we start planning next year. And also just adjusting some of the public works for the keeping some items in there. So we're not draining the public works, but also making sure they have a more accurate budget also. That makes sense.
So Mark, I'm gonna ask a question I don't know the answer to. Has Beth and Jason sat down with you and Bev and looked this over and they're all in agreement with this, right? They understand it? I don't care if they're in agreement, they understand it.
Yeah, but what we're gonna do is, over the next 6 months, we'll work within this budget, and then we'll evaluate it during the budget process to see what changes need to be based on their evaluation of all our buildings. Because we're taking another look at everything that needs to be done. So
Okay.
Jason's actively getting bids and quotes on things that we had in the works to
Okay.
reevaluate everything.
Because you're transferring facility protect to salaries, DPW salaries to facility salaries. So it's some of it's facility protect to, or supplies, you're changing, and maybe changing the name of the, what you're
Well,
doing.
Professional tech is what we use when we outsource subcontractors for work and professionals. So instead of subcontracting, that's now an employee. So that has to go to a salary line within facilities. So we're moving it from subcontractor DPW to salary facilities. So it's really, we're shuffling the deck to make it more accurate.
Yes, plus this also includes the cleaner, the custodial people too. They got moved to the facilities. So it's
Right.
not just 2 people, it's really 3.
Okay.
So it's like I was trying to make transfers or trying to transparent between what lines and all that kind of.
It's just a little confusing. I guess I would say if you could get this information to us, say Monday before, so we can kind of look at it and try to understand it better. And I know you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it just would be good to get it a little earlier.
I think some of this was in the packet that Jen sent out yesterday.
I didn't see this, the transfer stuff, the budget stuff,
The motion wasn't in there, but I thought the transfer was in there.
because I,
Yes, the
transfer
transfer was
in
in your
yesterday.
packet.
the transfer,
The
Yeah.
transfer sheet showing all the changes
What
was
was
in your
missing
packet.
was the motion,
Yeah,
because that had to.
But you know what, Judy, the transfers are normally not this extensive and deep.
Right.
So we probably, but I get it.
I mean, it's just, I just want to understand it, because it's like you're transferring a lot of stuff from one to the other. So, you know, and it's a lot of money. It's 158,000 and we're not going to a town meeting. So I just like to understand it.
I'm concerned about the town meeting issue as well. I think that we need to have something more on the agenda. If I'm a townsperson and I see the agenda, I have no idea that we're talking about $158,000 transfer. So it's kind of important to have some kind of notice out there of what we're doing. I mean, if I look at section 7.1 on today's agenda, it's pretty vague.
Just a lot of money. I mean, to go from one to another.
What we can do, because this has to go to FIPAC as well. And FIPAC is not till the 16th. You're going to have another meeting on the 15th. We could have a more descriptive.
Mark, I don't have an objection to approving it tonight. I'm just saying in the future, if we're going to have big transfers, I'd like to get notice of it and have the town get notice of the transfers.
Right. I guess I was thinking we could wait, you know, kind of get a little bit more information. I mean, I'm not sure what all this stuff means.
you want like more detail of what's being moved from.
Yeah,
public
it's just
works
like I
over?
said, it's just a lot of money for just that we're moving around. And if in a different time, we would go to a town meeting. It just seems like a lot of money. So I guess I would like more what that means, you know.
Actually, Judy, let me tell you, I agree with you because I know I asked Mark if there were questions on where the money, how it was going to look and what pool and everything. If we had some sort of diagram, like from here, over here, responsibilities to see where it is,
Maybe
it would
that-
be more of understanding. So, listen, I have full confidence that this is exactly what we're looking for. I know that. I mean, I understand how you feel. But I gotta tell you,
You know, I mean, I'm sure it's fine. I just like to understand stuff before I vote on it. The
Well, we have Bev on the line. Either we could, hold on.
somebody's dog's barking.
so we can either run this and Judy, you can come in and get an understanding of it. I mean, but if you're not, if other people aren't comfortable either,
I'd rather wait and vote on it next time.
I wouldn't mind getting more details.
okay, I'm going to retract my motion. Throw it on next week, Mayor Mark, and let's have some understanding of this for these people, okay? Again, you're on mute.
Not a problem for me. I can
I
get
gotta
more
wait till my
details.
wife comes in the house. The dogs are nuts, but we can redo it on the 15th.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The Columbia Lake Dam Beach, there's nothing here, but I'm gonna ask everybody, make sure you keep your eyes out for things that are going on. Somebody told me about somebody being on the lake bed with a motorized gas engine machine that's not allowed. If you see that, please tell them to get off, or give me a call. I have no problem telling them to get off. Town administrator's report, come off of mute.
All right. So basically, Governor Lamont is stepping up the ability to do higher fines to mainly they're targeting corporations that are not obeying the mask wearing and protocols towards number of people inside buildings. So that's been brought up to a maximum of $10,000 per fine. Right now, Columbia has gone up, but Collin County is still pretty low in hospitalizations. Columbia just entered the red zone based on 15%, 15 COVIDs per 100,000. So we just entered the red zone club. And Connecticut still is not in the travel warning area.
Okay.
So that's basically the nutshell there. And then I also wanted to address hospitalizations have gone up, but not in comparison to, well, Tallinn has gone up quite a bit, but Columbia, cumulative hospitalizations are still only at 6. And in the last 2 weeks, 0 hospitalizations, so that's good. So we're still holding strong compared to Tallinn, and Tallinn's low compared to Mansfield and really Coventry. And right now, the library has gone back into nobody's allowed in the library, all external pickup. And the senior center has not had any changes, and the town offices haven't had any changes. Rec has moved everything outdoors. There's no indoor rec at the moment except for Yeoman's Hall for exercise classes. And other areas are still outdoors as long as the weather holds for wood carving and walking and hiking and pickleball. So that's still going on outside. And what else I want to tell you? Isn't it? Oh, Bill, you had a question last meeting about what the quarterly payment was to Deep. And
Yes.
that's a state, I looked into that with land use. That's a state requirement that Deep gets $60 per every land use zoning compliance. Anything with zoning compliance is land use, Deep gets $60 flat fee. So for example, if we, I'll just give you an actual example. We're constructing a new house at 250,000. The permit fee the town gets is 3,000. The state gets $65 for state education. Town zoning gets 100. State zoning gets 60. That $60 is given as a quarterly payment. So the total fee to build a $250,000 house in our town is $3,225. And that pays for your land use department and Deep's cut of land use fees.
Thank you.
Welcome. And that's all I have, Steve.
Okay, in correspondence,
Steve, it's Jen. You missed the, just the tri-board meeting on December 16th, just
oh
to,
yeah, that's a good point. I'm sorry. Thank you, Jen.
Yep.
7.2, new business. We're scheduling the tri-board meeting for the 16th of December. Anybody have real heartburn with that?
Is that gonna be a Zoom meeting, I assume?
I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who has a life? We don't have anything else to do.
Not right now.
We're working.
So just so you know.
Not right now.
Under correspondence, 20 years.
Now, Carol wanted me to point out, Price wanted me to point out that she started in the Register of Voters in 1991, became assistant tax collector in 1993, and she was appointed full tax collector in July 1995. But she just hit 20 years in the certified Connecticut municipal collectors. So it's a long career with the town. I just wanted to highlight it.
Yep, very good.
She does a good job.
Yes, she does. She's very pleasant, does a nice job with the people.
She's very good. Yeah.
All right. Budget. So we don't have other transfers?
We're no more other transfers, and we'll hold that till next board second meeting.
Okay, refunds. I make a motion, we pay refunds in the amount of $430.19. Looks like excess payments there. Any discussion? All those in favor? Rob,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Steve, and I vote yes. Bills, I make a motion, we pay bills in the amount of $35,149.62, consisting of 2021 regular, the bond interest payment, credit card, and paychecks. Is that our last bond interest payment?
Yeah,
Well, that would be nice.
I think it might be.
No, you got one more plus the principal
Uh,
in June.
It says that all the time. One more.
Yeah, but, yeah, I know that.
This should be the last, I think this is the last year, so
I think
That's
so
cool.
too. And I don't
But
think
June
it's
we
as
should be
large
done.
as it always is, right?
the second one is gonna be like the payment's like 145 for principal and then the same interest of 3,600, so then we should be done.
That's cool. How long was how long was that loan?
20 years?
I think it was 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh,
And
20
then
years.
we have no bonds after that, correct?
We're
No.
all paid in full.
And we have a good amount of money in our savings.
Don't
We're not
let
discussing
the
that.
state hear that.
We're not discussing it, you're right.
You never know what happens with that. But
Yeah, I know what happens. We're planning, we have big plans. Okay, any discussion?
Mm-mm.
Looks good.
Yep.
All those in favor? Rob,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Steve, and I vote yes. Thank you. Uh, Let's see. Ann, anything? Would you like to say anything now, Ann? Audience or citizen?
She's muted.
That's fine.
No,
Uh,
thank you.
Okay. Board member comments?
I do have one. I gotta say, our tree warden and the crews around town taking care of our trees, I think they've done a pretty good job. With all the windstorms we've had, we could have been in real trouble, and they've really kept on top of it. Had some issues, but for the most part, we're good.
Yeah. There's so many trees that need to be taken down. It's just endless.
Yeah.
But it could have been a lot worse. I agree.
They did a good job.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure that Mark let Beth know and pass it on to them, huh?
I will.
Great. Okay, no other comments? Very good. At this time, we're going to suspend the regular meeting and go into executive session. So I would invite Mark to stick around.
And Beverly, do you want to listen? This will eventually involve you too.
Sure.
Stephen, is that all right?
Yes.
He shook his head and nodded and said yes.
Beverly's always welcome, but but for you to ask, you probably shouldn't have, but that's okay. So that's fine. So Jennifer, take care.
Bye,
Bye,
Ann.
Jennifer.
Ann,
Bye.
always good to
Bye.
have you on.
And is Ann leaving? Yes, Ann left. So we don't have to go into a new executive session, and I'll stop recording at 7:30.
And then I make a motion, we adjourn the Board of Selectmen regular meeting. All those in favor, Rob,
Yes.
Will,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Steve, and I vote yes. Very good. All right, thank you very much, all.
Okay.
And we'll see you on the, whatever the next one is, 15, 16, 15th.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, all.
All right. Good night.
Bye.